Hi, I'm Jen, and today I'm going to show you how to contour, highlight and blush, because it's a little trick that so many women are afraid of but really want to learn how to highlight and sculpt their bone structure, but do it in a natural way so you don't have to worry about looking stripy. We're going to do it so it's nice and natural and no one's going to know that we've used these few little tools to enhance our bone structure. So today's look is going to involve using powder products, not creams. I know you've probably seen a lot of different cream highlights and bronzers on the market, but I do find that they're harder to use, and I really want this look to be simple and easy, especially because it is for day to day. So that's why I'm sticking with powder products today. I am using products suitable for a pale complexion, but obviously you need to adjust it to suit your skin tone. So if you do have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message or email. So the product that I'm using, as I have a pale skin, is Benefit Hoola Hoola Light. And you'll notice the brush that I'm using is a rounded blush brush. It's not one of those angular contour brushes, because I find when I use those it goes too stripy. So it's deliberately a round fluffy brush, not too big, because this is going to be a more natural way. It's going to do the blending for me as I go. So I'm getting my product, I'm tapping the brush so there's not too much on there. What I want to do is see where the ear, the top of the ear connects. That's where I want to start my bronzer or contour, either or, and I want to take it down under the cheekbone. Not too low, because that's going to draw the face down. We want to be lifting everything up. So I'm going from the ear to about here. So that's only 1.5 inches. When I said contour or bronzer, a contour traditionally is more grey base. A bronzer is more warm base. I find for everyday use, I use a bronzer as opposed to a contour, because I'm not in a photo shoot with strong lighting. It's an everyday scenario. So this is more natural for me and also warms up the complexion. So do you see how I start by the ear, going down onto my cheekbone and then back up, both directions? So if I come forward, you'll see I've started creating that shadow there. Can you see that? It is a little bit stripy when you do that first. So now what I do is I push up. The reason I'm pushing up is because I want to blend that line away, but I don't want to drag the face down. I want to lift it up. So by the ear, backwards and forwards, and then blend it up like so. Then I'm going to do the other side. When I do my own makeup, I always like to look straight ahead. I find generally if I do go from side to side to do it, I can't check that they're even. So when I'm looking in the mirror, I want to make sure that that is even. A bit hard now because I've got the camera, so I'm going to the side for you, but I just thought I'd make a point of that. It's easier to look straight ahead when you do it. Backwards and forwards there. So see where the ear connects to the skin? I'm starting there, the top of the ear. Backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. Not too low, okay? It's only literally about 1.5 inches. Can you see already my cheekbones are accentuated? And then I want to push up to blend to get rid of that line. But when we put our blusher on later, it's going to help to blend that even more. So for me, the cheekbones are the most important place to contour because I have quite a round face. But a lot of people also like to contour the side of the forehead to give them A, some warmth from their bronzer, and B, just to sculpt this area and make it look a little bit smaller. So again, into my Hoola Hoola bronzer. And I'm just going backwards and forwards. I always keep the brush, excuse me, backwards and forwards. I always keep the brush in both directions to even it out. Can you see the warmth there? Now bear in mind this is meant to be natural, so it's not meant to be looking stripy. If it's looking stripy, you've got too much and it's not blended, okay? That's why I've gone for a very natural light color, which is Hoola Hoola Light. This is more suitable for a pale skin. If you have a more of a tan, then they have the Hoola Hoola Original, or there's other bronzers that you can use, but this is my personal favorite, okay? So I've got my contour up on the side of the forehead, then I have it under the cheekbones, and now I'm going to do a little bit on my neck just to sculpt the jawline there, but I take it down the neck so that I don't have a line along the jawline. So essentially when you're putting on your bronzer or your contour, we've done a number 3. So we've gone the side of the forehead, we've gone under the cheekbone, and then we've gone on the jawline, okay? So that's the area a number 3. I don't apply it in that manner because I like to dip for each area. So I do a dip, I do the side of the forehead, I do a dip going from under the cheekbone there by the ear, and then dip again for the jawline, okay? Making sure it's not stripy, because we don't want anyone to know we've got it on. We want it to look natural, hence why I've not gone too dark. So you'll see, because I've opted for a bronzer and not just a contour, it's warmed my skin up as well as enhanced my bone structure. So basically for day-to-day use, I do recommend going for a more natural sort of bronzing color as opposed to a contour, which is more gray based, which is better for the photo shoots, basically, I think. Okay, if that explains the difference between a contour and a bronzer for day-to-day use. So next I want to put on my highlight, because the contour is shading the areas on the face that I want to shade, and now I want to use a highlight to bring forward the top of the cheekbone. So I shaded underneath the cheekbone, and now I'm going to highlight the top of the cheekbone. Again, you can use a powder or a cream, it's up to you. I am going to show you, let's stick with powders because I think it's quick and easy. So I have here my Toofaced Candle Light Glow, quite good for a pale skin, this one. I'm going to use the same brush, but you could use a smaller brush. Now I want to just pop it on the top of the cheekbone here, so feel for where your bone is and going around there. It's one of those products that you can only see when the light hits you, so if you're putting it on and you don't really see it, don't necessarily put more on, because it will only show up when the light hits you, okay? With no light, it's not going to show up. So just around there. I'm being careful that I don't go too close to the eyes, because I don't want to be highlighting any crow's feet. I want to highlight the bone here. See how that bone is looking nice and highlighted now? Okay. The other areas of the face that people tend to highlight is the nose. I'm not a fan of that, so I'm not going to do it myself. But I do like to highlight my Cupid's bow and in the corner of the eyes. So again, I'm getting the same product, but I'm using a little smudger brush here. And I'm just going to just pop it on the Cupid's bow and then the corner of my eyes in that little V, just to freshen my eyes up a little bit. Can you see how it now draws attention to the eye there compared to that side? You can also do under the brow just there if you like, a little bit. So what I've done is highlighted the cheekbone, the Cupid's bow, and the inner corner of the eyes, and a tiny bit under the brow. You can do your nose. I'm not personally a fan of it. If you do want to do your nose, my advice is don't do the center part here. It makes it look rounder, and I think draws more attention to that part of the nose. So that's why I'm not personally a fan, but up to you, whatever you're comfortable with. So far we've contoured and we've highlighted. So at this point, it can sometimes be a little bit obvious because you've got the dark and you've got the light. So now I want to go in and put the blush on to bring it all together. So I've chosen, again, a powder brush, because I find powder products when you're learning generally just much easier. So I'm going for a Charlotte Tilbury, this is called Ecstasy. It's a sort of a pinky peach, but any blush will do. I'm using my same brush. So this, if you want to know, is actually the Rae Morris Kabuki brush. So I'm getting my blush. So what I'm going to do now is put the blush on the middle of the apple of the cheekbone and up on the bone, and that's going to help to fuse the bronzer and the highlight together so it's not too obvious. So I'm just going up on my cheek, up on the bone. So it's going to give me a little bit of color, but it's also blending them together so I don't look stripy. A little bit more on the apple of my cheek here, and then lifting up on the bone. I'm really careful that I'm not going too low, because I want to be drawing everything up, you know, fighting gravity, not drawing it down. So I'm not going lower, too low here. I'm going on the apple and up on the bone. I personally love a lot of blush. It's my favorite product, but you can use as little or as much as you want. I'm just blending it in here with my fingers. So I think you'll notice compared to before, I have more color to me, and you can see, I suppose my bone structure's been enhanced by sculpting those areas of the face. So give it a go. My advice is use a nice fluffy rounded brush so that it's doing the blending for you. Work with powders rather than creams because it's easier, and don't go too dark with your bronzer slash contour color, because that's when it will look stripy. As I said, it's different for a photo shoot, but from day to day you want it to look nice and natural, okay? So I hope that helps. Give it a go. Let me know if you have any questions. You can always book in for a lesson with me if you want me to show you more. Okay, take care. Bye.